Okay, welcome back to Rockin' Math as we take a look at independent and dependent events in probability. So this comes straight out of the textbooks, and I think it's a very good concept for you to understand the difference between an independent event and a dependent event. So let's just take a look at it, and then we want to highlight some things that may make sense to us, and then maybe highlight some things that does not make sense to us. Okay, so let's see, I'm going to make it a little larger, and I want to use red. So we have Raja and Kara must choose a topic from a list of topics to research for their classes. So you're in your English class and your LA class, and you have a paper that you have to do. So Raja can choose the same topic as Kara and vice versa. So in this case, we say that the events are independent. Why? For an independent event, the occurrence of one event has no effect. So of course, Raja choosing, let's say, a topic on the race for governor, and of course Kara, she decides she want to choose that same topic, then it still has no effect on the probability that either one will happen, especially the second occurrence. So we look at that as being totally independent. Now, let's say that your teacher says, okay, I'm going to put a certain amount of topics in, and Raja chooses the race for governor. Now, that has been removed. So Kara must choose from the remaining topics, and that means that if that's the case, then what Kara chooses is dependent upon what Raja did from the beginning. So she has fewer topics to choose from after Raja did his choice. And for this dependent event, the occurrence of one event does not have an effect on the probability, or it does have. I said it does not. Let's say it does. That's why we got this highlighter out. So the first one, independent, no effect. This one, it does have an effect because there are less choices for the second event. Okay, so let's see now if we can run through a couple examples and see if we can determine whether events are independent and dependent, and we want to decide each set of events and explain our answer. So Erica rolls a 3 on a cube, a number cube, and a 2 on another number cube. Now think about this. We have 2 dice. We have 2. So rolling 1 has no effect on the other. So what would you say? The outcome of rolling one number does not affect the other, and meaning that the event are independent. Okay, remember that because you have 2, you can roll in their number from 1 to 6. So rolling a 2 on the 1 has no effect on rolling a 2 on the other. The other 2 is not going to disappear just because we roll a 2 on the first die, first number cube. Okay, so Tomoka chooses a 7th grader for her team from a group of 7th and 8th grade students, and then Juan chooses a different 7th grader from the remaining students. From the remaining students. See the word, okay? From the remaining students. So he cannot pick the same student, and there are few students remaining. So that means since he don't have the same choices as the first person, then the events are dependent. Okay, let's take a look at the third one. Micah has 3 $10 bills and 2 $20 bills in her wallet. She takes out a bill at random, replace it, and then takes out a second bill at random. Both bills are 20s. Okay, now let's think about that. She takes out, she has 3 bills. She has a $10 bill and 2 20s in her wallet. She takes out a bill at random. Now, she's going to replace it. So what about the choices? Have the choices decreased or have they remained the same? And then she takes out a second bill at random. Both bills she took out was 20. Now, since she replaced the first bill, the outcome of picking the first bill does not affect the outcome of picking the second bill. Therefore, the events are independent. So you just make sure that you understand this concept that independent has no effect. So that means if we're going to put it back, if we're going to draw a marble out of a bag and then put the marble back and then draw another marble, then we still have the same amount of choices. So that's independent. And dependent says if we're going to draw a marble out of the bag, or we're going to draw a piece of candy out of the bag and keep it, now the second draw has less, so now it is definitely dependable. Okay, it's a dependent event. So just a quick difference on independent and dependent events before we work some problems, which I'm thinking that we should really go into in the next video. But anyway, we do know that if we want to find the probability of 2 independent events, as we just discussed in the previous video, that we're looking at the probability of A and B, which tells us that we're going to multiply, which is the probability of A times the probability of B. Okay, so probability of both events and this is the probability of the first event and this is the probability of the second event. I think if you can keep this in mind, there will be no problems whatsoever. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to actually put up a couple problems for you to work and bring those in, and let's see how well you do. Independent and dependent events.